Good morning, good morning.
Okay, there we go, yes. We have sound, our Lady Felicia, we got Tyrone. Right?
Testing, I'm all good?
Yes.
Good?
Test, now we got me good.
Good morning, good morning.
We're official. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? How are you doing out there online? How are you doing outside? Beautiful to see you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We've got Tyrone. We've got Felicia. We're going to have a beautiful day this morning. If you are so inspired, you can stand up. If you want to sing along, put your mask on. And here we go.
Well, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Sing with us, this joy. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This peace, here we go. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All right, this love, here we go. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Okay, we're going back to the top. Here we go. This joy, everybody here. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. What did that world say? We said to the world, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Hold that joy inside of you. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Do you want your side?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our Unity of Walnut Creek service. My name's Brunley.
And my name is Casey. Welcome to our service. Please join us in turning to the camera and waving to the folks at home. Your presence adds to our spiritual community. Thank you for joining us.
And please join me in welcoming our guest musicians, Tyrone Cosey, joined by Thomas on keyboards, Joey on bass, and Dan on drums. And our Unity song leaders today are Lisa and Dr. Felicia Williams Cosey. Thank you all for sharing your music with us today.
Reverend Kristin will deliver today's message. Today's message is titled, Me in My Shadow.
Before we begin, I invite you to please turn your cell phones to silent so that we may enjoy the sacred service together.
Let's take a moment to be grateful for the land our center rests upon. This is Ohlone, Baymiwok, and Yukat's land.
We honor its ancestry and are grateful for those who have come before us. We commit to taking care of these sacred native grounds and all of Mother Earth.
Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. Our vision for the world is, we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness.
And our mission is who we've come here to be. Let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. And our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom.
If you are with us for the first time, welcome. We hope you feel free to raise your hand so we may acknowledge you. Hey, welcome, welcome. I see you guys. We are so glad to have you with us today. Please visit our bookstore across the patio after our service to receive a welcome packet and a gift. If you need help in receiving these, please let an usher know. We hope you'll choose to stay and meet some of us on the patio after service.
And connection cards are available in the newcomer welcome packets and in the seat pockets in front of you. These are for everyone. With these cards, you may submit a prayer request, and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week.
You may also share feedback or request information. Please place your cards in the basket with the offering. For those of you viewing online, connection cards are available on the Watch Live page of our website.
Please consider comfort levels of hugging one another before and after the services. We welcome you to socialize on the patio after the service and visit our bookstore.
Our campus is open for on-site classes and groups. Masking is optional, although we recommend masking indoors. It's very important to mask during singing. We have several activities to highlight this week.
Join Ben Cabal on the Unity lawn for Tai Chi for arthritis every Wednesday at 5:30. Everyone can benefit from this gentle practice of Tai Chi.
We are excited to announce our last 2 summer concerts. First, a surprise visit from our beloved New Thought singer-songwriter, Daniel Nahmod, next Sunday. Daniel will provide music for Sunday service and a concert at 2.
Yes, and on Friday, September 23rd, enjoy the fun folk rock harmonies of the 360s on the patio and lawn.
Hold the high watch with the entire worldwide Unity movement on World Day of Prayer. Join Reverend Kristin and prayer chaplains on Thursday, September 8th for a special service including sacred music, meditation, interfaith prayers, and uplifting Ukraine.
Unity is also hosting a women's retreat on September 17th. Join 3 presenters for an enriching day filled with joyful healing movement, personalized meditation techniques, and a nourishing lunch.
Unity's Earth Care team invites you to the coastal cleanup of the Martinez Regional Shoreline on September 17th. Yeah. Pitch in and create a cleaner coastline amidst the new and old friends.
Mm-hmm. And now I invite Andrea Starn to the platform so that she can tell us about her class that starts this Wednesday.
Good morning. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here. And thank you, Reverend Kristin, and for the opportunity to be able to teach the class that's coming up. And I just stopped in to tell you folks a bit about it. I learned in advance that the message today was around me and my shadow, and around owning our shadows as a process of deep spiritual growth. And that theme, I think, really kind of connects with this upcoming class that I'll be teaching on heart practices in challenging times. So I think it's not even up for debate that many of us are having the sense that we're living in dark times and asking how to be with this. And one way is sort of to understand our cultural conditioning to view darkness with apprehension and trepidation, rather than being able to consider it as a vital energy that can foster growth and creativity. So just wanted to share a quick example about the ways that darkness can be generative. So many of you may have heard about the Audubon Society's Lights Out program. And I've been interested in birds during the pandemic and the lockdown. I started focusing on birds. So I learned about this and the way that kind of billions of birds migrate constantly around the globe in the dark. And they've done this for thousands of years using the night sky to navigate. So now, passing over the bright light of big cities, they get disoriented, right? They fly into windows and buildings and waste their vital energy calling out and circling around in confusion. So through Lights Out, there are many major cities in North America, Toronto, New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, that have Lights Out initiatives to provide safe passage to these nocturnal migrants. And you know, we too, in our own ways, have the experience of migrating in the dark. And there is, I think, a sensing into the great promise that there can be in opening up to the ways that darkness too can be a restorative power, and encouragement to kind of consider darkness and dark times as invitations for personal growth and for collective reckoning and growth. So we all know that, this experience of uncertainty and navigating the dark is part of why we have so many wisdom teachings of all kinds that offer ways to navigate through pain, through confusion, through suffering. And the Buddhist tradition has what are known as the 4 Brahma Viharas, or the 4 immeasurables, and they're loving kindness, compassion, shared joy, and equanimity. And so meditating on these and exploring these innate capacities that rest within us can kind of awaken us to pathways of the heart and the way that those pathways can lead us and sustain us on our way through uncertainty and darkness. So to logistics, this class begins, it's an online class, this coming Wednesday at 6:30 in the evening, and it will continue for 4 consecutive Wednesdays, and each gathering that we have will focus on one of the 4 heart practices, and we'll kind of explore that, and then spend time in guided meditation around that particular practice. So if you're interested and want to learn more, I'll be out there after the service to sign up. You can do so in the bookstore, or you can do this online at the Unity website, and then I think calendar, and then the date, and click, and here comes Eventbrite, right? So I am looking forward to practicing with those of you who are interested in participating in this, and I thank you for, opening this beautiful community to me for this process. Thank you.
Please see our website for a full listing, registration, and login information for all our events. You can also pick up flyers and register on events in our bookstore.
As we prepare for a time of meditation, please join me in taking a conscious breath and affirming our statement of faith together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. We begin with a reading, followed by music, guided meditation, and silence. The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. even if they are a crowd of sorrows, who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
God is all there is. 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 God is all there is.
So, as we meditate together, just settling, just arriving in this moment, finding that comfortable seated position with your eyes closed or softly downcast if you prefer. And just taking some deep, natural breaths. Noticing how the body breathes itself. So maybe just softening around the eyes, loosening the jaw, the shoulders. Maybe feeling into your hands, resting in your lap, the life that's there. And just continuing to soften through your hips, your legs. Feeling your feet, perhaps how they're touching the floor and connecting you to the earth. And just being in the moment and letting go, maybe of thoughts, of words, of language. Maybe deepening and softening even a little more in this moment. And maybe there could be an invitation to feel the life energy within you, all around you, infinite, tender, and wise. Knowingness, really, that can hold it all. Joys and sorrows, shadow and light, stillness and movement, night and day. And resting in that loving awareness, knowing that you're held. And returning to the breath, just breathing in and breathing out. And letting go. So in the silence, So maybe now just a few more deep breaths before we close, and perhaps offering yourself thanks for your practice and thanks for the shared energy in this room, in this gathering. And just when you're ready, starting to open your eyes and maybe stretching a bit as you come back to the room. And so it is.
God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. Just had a brand new grandbaby, my first grandchild ever. Her name is Naya. So at some point in this song, you see me doing this. You know I'm singing to, right? 2.5 months old. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take. Bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there, and every gift you give. Love your dreams, love your life. You will do amazing things. amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Oh, amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when, where, or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Mr. Thomas Hughes. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath, and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Oh, amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You will do amazing things. Oh, you will do amazing, amazing things.
I want a grandpa like that. Wow, imagine if we all were sung to in that way from that age, you know? Amazing things. It's a beautiful world we can create through that kind of heart-centered energy, isn't it? And we know it doesn't always work out that way. There are things that go bump in the night that scare us out of our wits. Have you ever been frightened of your own shadow? Or a shadow? Yeah. I remember when my family moved, I was about 7 years old, and everything was new, so I was feeling a bit anxious. You know, home was new, school was new, neighborhood was new. And I got off the bus one day, and we had moved into this area that was just being developed. So I imagine the wild animals around felt the same way. Like, what is going on here with our home, right? So there was a lot of that sort of unsettled energy. And when I got off the bus, this big pheasant took off up above me. And compared to my little being at the time, the shadow of that pheasant seemed enormous to me, and I convinced myself that the bird was after me. And so I ran as fast as my little legs would carry me, and it was a pretty long run from the bus stop. And I, sort of classic, close the door and, oh my gosh, I made it. It didn't eat me. It didn't carry me off into the wild beyond, all the things that were racing through my mind about this really shadow that I was more afraid of than the bird itself. And isn't it sort of that way, even as adults, that this idea of the shadow self, the things that lurk in the unknown, make us want to run fast and slam the door shut in our safe places, right? Or wish that it would just fly away. The shadow is this idea that was founded by transpersonal psychologist Carl Jung. And it's basically what we hide from ourselves. We're best at hiding it from ourselves. What we attempt to hide from other people. And what we maybe just aren't ready to see yet. We hide it because we don't want to see it, we don't want others to see it, or we're just not ready. And a lot of that is a part of the unconscious. We truly don't recognize what it is that we put into that shadow, these parts of ourselves. They might be our prejudices, they might be our fears, our grief, our anger. It could be all kinds of things that get cast into the shadow for various reasons. I grew up in a household where anger was not openly expressed. I mean, once in a while, my dad would overreact to literally something like spilled milk. But mostly, the rest of our household, being female, maybe was a part of that. It was clear, the message was clear, that being a self-controlled, well-behaved being was the goal. I mean, I'm not sure how I got all those messages, but the message was clear, right? And anger wasn't a part of the plan, of that well-behaved, self-controlled being that we were to be. So of course, that then just got pushed off into the shadow, right? And it lingered there for a while, probably popped out a little here and there, but I remember one incident where it really popped out. And it was high school, where we care a lot about, what the folks around us think, right? So my friend Julie, who had known me from grade school, drove me, the two of us went to the homecoming float building experience and event. And of course, the homecoming dance was coming up, and another friend of ours, Sue, and my date were going to double date for this event. And so I had been noticing, though, about Sue that she would it seemed to me, manipulate social situations in the background and then sort of put on a happy face and sort of a glib reason. And she always came out smelling rosy and looking really popular. And so this had been sort of grating a little bit for me, So when I was at this event, I discovered that my date and I had been completely pushed out of the plans, and some kind of reason was given for group inclusivity or something, and everybody was buying it, and I just blew a gasket. I mean, really, it was like somebody just opened up the fire hydrant and all the water went streaming out on Sue and everybody around. You know? Wasn't one of my finest moments. Anybody ever have one of those? Yeah. It was just all that shadowy stuff, right? There it was, aired out. And so I got into, but it was also exhilarating and powerful, right? You know that feeling too? So I get in the car with my friend Julie, who's just mouth agape, eyes as big as saucers, and she says, "Wow, I did not know you had that in you." And I said, "Neither did I." And we just both kind of sat there in shock, you know, and I'm sure everybody else did who witnessed it. So there it is, you know, this is the experience that can happen with the shadow when it remains in the shadows. It remains hidden, it remains repressed. It's like the beach ball you try to put under the water and up it comes, right? And so it's that kind of experience that most of us would like to avoid having. So what is it that, you know, we can glean from this? What blessings are present for us? What lessons are there for us? For me, it made me recognize I am capable of expressing anger. In fact, I feel anger. And here's the key. It's okay. That's the key. It's about acceptance. It's about self-love. That's what welcomes the shadow back in. It's not lost on me that it was a homecoming event. Right? Because that's what happens. It's a homecoming of these pieces of ourselves that we have cast out, that we have learned for some reason are not okay. And that's the process of integrating the shadow back into the wholeness that we are. So there are parts of us, we often think of the shadow as these things that, you know, we wouldn't want or that are so-called negative. The shadow includes everything that, you know, all aspects that can be hidden. And so it could be what some people sometimes even call the golden shadow, are those things that are positive characteristics that for whatever reasons got shoved aside. Maybe, for example, Kimberly Faso gives the example that as a child, we were really boisterous about what we liked and didn't like. We raised our voice about things. We expressed ourselves. We had a strong will. And everybody around us said, "You're too much. You're too much." Yeah, some of you have gotten that, right? So it's that tamping down, keeping small, right? So that goes into the shadow then. Even your strength, your confidence, your power. And then you become adult, and all of a sudden you got all these painful things going on in your life. And it's like, what's going on here? Because there is this divisiveness inside of us. There is a real part of us, an authentic part of our soul expression that's been severed in a way. And we start looking around and recognizing what it is, and we can bring it home, bring it back, and own those characteristics that really help us in life, that are a part of what the gifts that we have to give in life. So since the shadow includes all aspects of being, we'll notice it in traits that we admire in others, as well as traits that make us go, ooh, you know? So it's both of those reactions that can tell us something. Like, for example, you'll say, "Oh, that person is so funny. I'm not funny at all." Well, think again, because if you spot it, you got it, as they say, right? So as you see those characteristics that you love and admire about others, that you really would love to have yourself, but you don't see yourself a part of, that's the subconscious getting your attention. That's what happened. The subconscious sort of waves at us, you know? It tries to get our attention. So what we have to work with rises up into the conscious mind, into the light of day. Charles Fillmore in Metaphysics talks about the three phases of mind, the trinity of mind. And so we work with this subconscious, this conscious, and superconscious mind too. And so that superconsciousness is that divine light, that essence of us that is a part of this whole process that helps us then not only recognize and bring into the light of day, but really own it and let it be a part of that truth of who we are. Let that I am shine a bit more through us. So the shadow work is so significant to the spiritual journey, to our maturation process. Carl Jung talked about the absolute essential significance of shadow and in his big body of work. He said that shadow is not only dark, but also light. It's not only semi-human or even demonic, but superhuman and spiritual and even divine. He said the shadow is the source of our highest good. That's powerful, right? The shadow is the source of our highest good. That thing we keep running from, hiding, suppressing, putting in the back closet is the source of our highest good. It's time to open up the cabinet, shine a light, right? See what's there, because I know we all want to be fueled by the source of our highest good. So many life improvements are reported by people who do conscious shadow work. Here's a few examples that are played out on the internet and other places. Self-love and acceptance, I've mentioned. Healthy relationships, more authenticity, a more authentic expression of your soul. Greater confidence, more compassion and understanding, especially for others and even for those you dislike. A greater sense of passion and purpose in our lives, wholeness, unveiled gifts, greater mental and emotional and spiritual clarity, enhanced creativity, and those are just a few. So this work is worthy of celebration. It might take some work. It may not always be pleasant, but yet that reintegration is so worth it. It's that knowing amazing things I will do as I let these parts of me come home. Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founder, said it this way: we must begin at once to rejoice in the light that has come to redeem our subconsciousness from the shadows of error and fear. So we often overlook our shadow work in our spiritual journey because we want to bask in the light and the love and the joy all the time, right? As a clergy friend of mine once said in another tradition, it can't be Easter all the time. Our collective New Thought shadow, I think, is that we don't think we have one. And so it's even recognizing, right? Yeah, that gets us, doesn't it? Even recognizing, right? It's okay to have a shadow. If we don't allow the space for pain, we won't ever feel the fullness of our joy. This is why we want to bring forth the allness of who we are, accept the allness of who we are, reclaim it. You know, it's like that light will shine as broadly and as deeply and radiate as far out into the world in equal measure to the depths and the dark unknown that we plumb. And so the willingness to go deep as well as big and bright and outward, to live inward as well as out loud. That's part of this walk of shadow work that is provided for us. Tyrone and Felicia were telling us this morning that they recently came back from Unity Village, and there was a huge conference of people of African descent in Unity, and 500 people gathered together from all over the country, and they were just saying what a wonderful celebration it was. And I thought about back when Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman went to Unity in ministerial school, and the prejudice that she underwent in that process was really unfortunate. I heard that at one point she wasn't even allowed to live on campus, that her car was keyed, that various things happened. And one of our ministers in Unity going to ministerial school. I mean, we got the ghosts, the skeletons in the closet here too, right? But here's the good news. We shine the light and we go, okay, I've seen the boogeyman. I see that I'm projecting some of that. I'm owning some of that. And so what can I do to make a difference, to bring forth healing? You know, it's never too late. It's never too late for us to welcome home, to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and just say, okay, I have that capacity in me too, so let's get to work healing it. We all can heal it together. That's the work that comes out of shadow work, is seeing it. That's why I tell you that story, because it's embarrassing. I'd rather not, especially if you're new here today, I'd rather you didn't know that story about Unity, right? It's like everybody here, we all probably got a little uncomfortable, like, oh, I don't really want to know that about our past. But if we put it out there, then it loses its power, and it allows us to heal. It allows us to see. It allows us to say, I'm sorry. Even if it's too late to say, I'm sorry to Reverend Johnny Coleman, it's not too late to say, I'm sorry to all the other people that may have been hurt or are being hurt, So that's why this work is so important. That's what we're up to in the world now. The shadow is, shadow work. This is it, right? It's everywhere. It's popping up everywhere in every way. And so it's little boys don't cry and little girls don't be angry. That's the shadow of the patriarchy. And it's like, we're stepping out of that. We're moving forward. We're spiritually awakening. We're recognizing that gender is a spectrum. There's all kinds of things, goodness that is coming out of looking at our shadows. And some of it, we didn't necessarily go looking for it. It's just come on out, right? Because it's time. And we're the ones. Because you know why you're the one? Because you're here now on the planet. That's how you know. I'm here now on the planet to be a healer. I'm here now on the planet to be somebody who looks at the difficult things so that I can bring greater light and love and joy through me and as me on the planet. That's what it's always about, isn't it? So Jesus, as it turns out, was an excellent depth psychologist. 2,000 years ago, far predating Carl Jung and all the modern psychology, he said this about the shadow, a teaching on projection. He said, "Why do you see the splinter in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, 'Let me take the splinter out of your eye,' when there's a log in your own eye? You hypocrite," he says. "First, take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly." Father Richard Rohr says that Jesus calls the ego self that wants to look good at all costs the actor. It's said 15 times alone in the Gospel of Matthew, and often in the Greek it's translated into hypocrite. And so he's speaking to this idea of projection. When we say, it's them, it's you, you know what they always say? One finger pointing out and three fingers pointing back, right? And so as we turn that around, we can recognize projection is one of the shadow's favorite tactics. It loves to project out. So for us, we can begin to spot our shadow by asking ourselves, what am I saying, in my mind at least, about others? About those closest to me, about people I've never met, somebody who just passed me on the street. Suddenly I have a whole story about that person. It's like, what is going on there? That projection can help us see the shadow more clearly. So in whatever ways we project out into groups of people, individuals, whatever it is, we can start to pay attention to, that's pointing me to my shadow. Jesus reminds us our business is the log in our own eye, right? He's telling us that's where you look. Look there first. And the promise then, when we remove that log from our own eye, is to see more clearly. When we see more clearly, everything hums along a little better in life, doesn't it? When we see more clearly, we feel more at ease. When we see more clearly, we see more deeply. All the way back to like the beginnings of time when Eve reached for that apple for greater self-knowledge, and the gods told Adam and Eve that now you will see like us, both good and evil. That's what this work is about, a willingness to see more clearly, the whole spectrum, and be okay with all of it, more than okay with all of it. Use the fodder of the shadow to propel ourselves forward into the essence and the truth and the lived truth of who we are. So that is one of the ways, projection is one of the ways we can begin to spot the ego. The shadow. The ego wants us to stay on the surface of self-knowledge, right? The surface mind. It doesn't want us to go down into the subconscious and unconscious realms and start to bump into things in the night. It doesn't, that's part of what the ego always wants to look good. So that's a big piece of what keeps us from looking. And yet we know with the spiritual work, we can be made whole again by doing exactly that. So our emotional reactions can be a real harbinger for us of shadow, right? What thrills you? What really excites you? What do you get super excited about? What disgusts you? What shocks you? These are the things that are indicators that there might be some shadow behind it because you have such an emotional reaction. What triggers you? What are your hot buttons? All of that can say, okay, there might be something behind this. Let's lift up that rock and see what's there. And then we'll know. And then we can work with it. That subconscious that I mentioned that's waving us, it is waving at us in various ways because just as we are looking maybe to spot the shadow with our conscious minds, that subconscious is looking to get our attention. There's a continual process of trying to get our attention. It shows up in nighttime dreams. So our nighttime dreams are trying to show us something about ourselves, about our lives. So we can just blow them off, or we can look and wonder and ask and dig a little bit deeper. The subconscious shows up as recurring patterns in our lives. And so we begin to notice the patterns. Do you ever notice that you've had the same issues in multiple different relationships? You could suddenly go, what's the common denominator here? Maybe there's something here that I could look at, right? So that it's that work to point back. What comes forth when you doodle, when you draw? What kind of symbols arise naturally? That can be the subconscious. Symbols are that really rich language of spirit and soul that can really put us in the right brain in a different way of thinking and being than we typically are in our culture, and that we enter into that artistic realm more fully and the mystical realm as well, and be able to work with something. Years ago, I recognized that I really didn't like being told what to do. That I... Oh, I see some of you too. And so I would have this reaction when people were where I perceived that they were telling me what to do, And after a while, I thought, wow, that seems like kind of a big reaction to something that occurred just now, So as the awareness began to come, I did some meditation around it, and actually a symbol came to me, a whole scene came to me. I have two older sisters, and so they were burying me with this shovel, I don't know if it was like maybe sand at a beach or something, I don't remember exactly, but there was this sense that the shovel was the symbol that I was being buried. You know how that feeling, if you've ever been buried in sand, it feels really heavy on your chest, and I realized that what that shadow was behind, I don't want to be told what to do, was my own power, my own sense of self, my own sense of assertiveness and confidence. And so as I recognized that, the shovel became really important. And so I actually went out and bought this small kind of a garden trowel, and I had it on my altar through the winter because I live in the Midwest and couldn't garden yet. But I literally, in the spring, got that trowel out and planted a new spring garden. And by working with that symbol, both in a spiritual and a physical way, I began to notice that more confidence was arising in me, a greater sense of my own power, a sense of assertiveness showed up in my life that I didn't have before. But it was always there, right? It just got buried in the shadow. And it was because I was having this reactivity to being told what to do that it got unearthed. It didn't just happen like that, right? I tell you this story because it took some spiritual work. It took some deliberate work with symbol and meditation. And it freed me from that. Now you can all tell me what to do, and I'll be like, fine. I may or may not do it. But this is what happens for us. You know how it is for yourself as you have stepped into the light of your being, as you have brought home some piece of yourself. You know how good that feels. It's like a flood of energy comes back. It's like when the color comes back to our face. It's the color coming back to our souls. It's the fullness and the truth and the life that we were meant to live, that we get unleashed and given back to us. It's freedom. Mirrors. We don't do all this alone. There's mirrors all around, right? We do have to do the inner work. We have to take the initiative to do the personal work, yes. Nobody can do that for us. But we don't do it in a vacuum. And relationships are fabulous mirrors for this kind of work, right? Some people laugh at the word fabulous. They're just mirrors. I won't give them an adjective. They're just mirrors, right? Because they are mirrors for both the things that we dislike or don't want to own, and also mirrors for the things that we admire, that we wish to be, that we want to grow into. So to have the mirrors in our life, people both that push our buttons and teach us, and people that we think the world of. It's good to have a variety of mirrors in our lives, to get out into the world, into relationship, so that we can grow in this way. It's probably one of the fastest tracks of all to this work. So shadow work, in sum, brings us into spiritual wholeness. It brings us into the wholeness of ourselves. It brings us peace and wisdom and joy of being our authentic selves. It matures us both emotionally and spiritually. Midway through Paul's famous 1 Corinthians 13 quote that we often use at weddings to talk about love. It starts out, love is patient, love is kind. And it's interesting to me that he talks all about love, and then he goes into this section where he talks about really what happens when we integrate the shadow. He says, but when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. And when I became an adult, I put away childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we shall see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I am fully known. That's what happens when we integrate the shadow. Beautiful, isn't it? So let's do this inner shadow work so that we will know fully and be fully known. I invite you into the shadows this week. Let's speak this affirmation together. With love and acceptance, I reclaim my shadow back into my whole self. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Kristin, for reminding us to look at our shadows to get to our divine self.
Might be a good opportunity to go to the spiritual growth circle, right, to unpack this talk today. Our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide personal prayer support. If you are a prayer chaplain serving today, please stand. Our prayer chaplains wear the lavender stoles.
Whether you have a joy or concern on your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness.
And now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, we shall receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature.
For your convenience, there are a variety of ways to financially give to this community. In addition to check and cash, you may download the Give app, use the credit debit card envelopes provided on the clipboards in the back of each chair, or set up bill pay through your bank. For those of you at home, you may click on the donate button on our Watch Live page.
I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Taught how to do that. Thank you so much. This is a song I wrote 20 years ago, actually 21 years ago. Wow, I was only 3 years old, but anyway. It's called Wherever I Am. And recently I decided to change one word in it. You'll probably hear it. There's a line that says, wherever I choose to be, God is always right there with me. I've been saying that for years. And then it just really dawned on me, in me, not with me, right? So now I sing it from a different place, right? So this is a song, you kind of can't help it. If you find your feet moving and you're clapping your hands, it's okay. All right? It's permissible here. We want you to have a good time on this song. We can be deep and have fun too, right? All right. 1, 2. La 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 la. God is wherever I am. God is wherever I am. God is wherever I choose to be. God is always right there in me. Wherever I am, wherever I am, wherever I am, God is. Wherever I go, God knows. Ba, ba, da, ba. Wherever I go, God knows. Wherever I choose to be, God is always right there in me. Wherever I am, wherever I am, wherever I am, God is. Yes, I will walk through the valley of false appearances, lost in a raging storm of blinding fear. That shadow, right? And then one day all the clouds disappear, and the bright morning sun reappears. But first I open my heart to release the pain. Whenever I'm scared, God's there. Whenever you're scared, God's there. Whenever I choose to fear, I just remember only God is here. Wherever I am, wherever I am, wherever I am, God is, God is, God is. Give him some love, give him some love. Wherever I choose to be, God is always right there in me. God is everywhere, within the earth and the air, beneath my wings. My God is there. My God is there. Is there. My God is there. My God is everywhere. My God is everywhere. My God is everywhere. My God is everywhere. My God is, my God, my God, my God, my God is everywhere. My God, my God, my God, my God is everywhere. My God, my God, my God, my God, my God is everywhere. My God, my God, my God, my God, my God is everywhere. My God, 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 my God. My God, my God, my God, His God is everywhere. My God, my God, my God, my God, my God is everywhere. My God is everywhere. My God is everywhere. My God, my God, my God is everywhere. God is everywhere. Even in the shadows. Even in the shadows.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tyrone. Come on up, Dana and Molly. Thank you for gathering all the goodness. So as we receive, we give thanks. As we give thanks. To know that we are participating in the divine flow of substance infused with Spirit, and that it moves through this ministry for good. We thank you, Spirit, for multiplying our abundant good individually and collectively in this participation of giving and receiving. Let's bless it together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is. Well, I understand the children are a bit shy today to come in, so we're going to just send some love. So let's go ahead and bless them. Children, youth, and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. Did you want to sing the children in any way?
I think it's fun to sing this song because it's for all of us.
Let's sing it. Let's do it.
Circle of love. We are a circle of light. Come join the circle of love. Come join the circle of light. The light in you and the light in me are one. One more time. We are a circle of love. We are a circle of light. Come it.
Oh, I'm glad we did not skip that
Yeah,
amazing
we got to
song.
sing that. That's for all of us,
Yes.
as well as the kids.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's close out with our prayer of protection. And if you want to follow along with Susan's lovely signing, she'll also sign the peace song after that. So together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Oh yeah. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Oh, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Yes, you are the light and the love and the wholeness upon the earth, so let your light shine. Have fun and spread joy. That was the best rendition of the peace song I think I've ever